So the New York Jets go with Sauce Gardner with the number 4 overall pick. He was number 2 on my board, including my favorite corner. He's the number 2 corner to go in real life. So I definitely feel like this is a little bit of a steal. It's really good value. I felt like the Jets would go corner here at 4, and most of my mock drafts I had that happening. And Sauce is my favorite corner. So why don't I just get into what I like about Sauce Gardner so much, why I think he could even be a great fit in this defense. We'll get into that a little bit in the film study, and then we'll talk more about the fit and the decision itself at the end of this video. So let's start things off with a play like this. What's going to happen on this one? This is kind of a great example, just I feel like showing a couple of things that he can really do. Showing his good footwork and what he can do at the line, along with just showing some good speed, where it's just a simple play, but it's a one-on-one matchup covering a slant route, and these routes are difficult to cover if you're a cornerback. I mean, you know, it's an easy angle for the quarterback to make the throw, right? You just give up a little bit of separation, and this could probably be a catch, but watch what Gardner is going to do here. As you see, I mean, Gardner is just with his man the entire way. At no point could that have been a throw made in that direction. So, again, little things like that. I mean, it's really just, do you give up separation? You know, for wide receivers, we look at, do you get separation? For corners, do you give up separation? And Gardner just doesn't. I want to talk about a play like this now. One thing that Gardner really just did an incredible job of in his time in Cincinnati was just kind of become a master of his defense. And they like to play a lot of zone in Cincinnati. They would mix it up. It wasn't like they just played one coverage all the time, but still a good amount of zone. And I feel like Gardner just had a great understanding of his assignment on these plays. And this is the perfect example. This is a great example of like just doing exactly what you should be doing. Of it's cover 2 zone, and you see the zone that he's supposed to cover. So he's the corner covering what you call the flat. That's the white zone. That's the one that he's covering towards the bottom of the screen. And this concept is designed to pick on that side of the field. So you have one receiver run deep. You also have a receiver who's in motion who's going to kind of run a similar route, but just get there later. And so basically the way this works for the quarterback is with a tight end eventually going to be flashing down there as well. Essentially, if the safety doesn't cover the deep guy, well, then you throw it to the deep guy. If the safety does cover the deep guy, but the corner, in this case Gardner, doesn't cover the second guy, well, then you throw it to the second guy. If Gardner does cover the second guy, then what you do is simply just throw it to the flat. That's kind of how your reads work here. So basically, your reads are going to go from deepest to shallowest. Right when this play begins, what you see Gardner do is first, he reads the play well and knows to pass off the first Alabama player to his safety. So right off the bat, doing the correct thing, knowing where your teammates are, getting to the next spot. Then as you see, when he covers that player, does a great job. So there was no chance that the throw could have been made there. So quarterback doing the right thing, going through his progressions and throwing it out to the underneath route. You're going to get the least amount of yards that way, but at least you're going to get some yards. So, okay, listen, this play concept worked. Yes, good example of Gardner doing a good job, but that's not it. We're not done yet. Watch what Gardner is going to do once this ball gets thrown underneath. As you see, he reads it really well, comes up, and still helps make the tackle. So, well, it wasn't like the most impressive tackle you'll ever see or anything, but the point is just that he understood the assignment at all points, and that's what you want in a corner. Someone who just knows what they're supposed to be doing, especially in zone, and he's definitely a guy who he knows his assignment. He's not going to get out of position. And I want to go over to a play like this because, listen, I just want to be very clear because that last play, it showed him not really making a great tackle. I just want to be clear that he is a good tackler. And some people say it doesn't matter so much if you're a good tackler, and that's probably true. At the end of the day, I'd rather you be someone who can, just go up and make a play and just cover more so than be someone who can tackle at the cornerback position. Like, typically, as long as you're not trash at it and teams can't exploit that, I don't really care. But there still definitely is some value to it, and definitely you notice him on film being able to be a good tackler. This is an example where you see that there's a receiver who's going to go out to block him, and then you're going to throw it to another receiver who's going to be, in underneath on the top of the screen in that flat area. So basically, that's who you want to hit. So right when this play begins, as you see, starts off blocking and is then going to try to get to a different Cincinnati defensive back, which does free up Gardner to try and run over and make a play. And you're saying, hey, we got talented receivers. We're Alabama. Our receiver can just make a play and make him miss and pick up a bunch of yards. However, as you see, Gardner was able to run over and make the quick tackle for a loss there. So, hey, you like to have that stuff as well. And it does seem like a lot of the best corners seemingly are good tacklers as well. I'm not sure if that's just a coincidence or what, but maybe not all the best corners. There certainly are some good corners who aren't good tacklers, but there's a lot who are both, and he is, in my opinion, both. And finally, let's go over to something like this, because again, what do we care about more than anything? We care about coverage. Let's talk more about his coverage, which I think we talked a good bit about, but let's, finish up with this play, and let's just talk about kind of his footwork, because that's the last thing we have to mention. So he does have speed, he has length, we know all of that stuff, but does he have the footwork to not get out of position? Sometimes when you get out of position, speed is what helps you get back in position, and every corner in the NFL is going to get out of position to some degree, but obviously, like we said, don't want to give up separation. Well, what's going to happen on this play? You see where he is on the field. It is a one-on-one matchup. Watch what happens. As you see, the Indiana receiver who he's going up against starts off running a deep route, but then he's going to stop. And so that's kind of the question for Gardner, is when he stops, can Gardner stop with him? That's the goal. And as you see, that's going to be exactly what he does. I mean, if that ball got thrown there, I fully believe Gardner would have been able to run over and knock it away. So that's just what you like about Gardner. And you watch a lot of his tape, the ball doesn't come his way very often. When it does, it doesn't seem to get complete, and he certainly does a good job of just not giving up separation whatsoever. And again, when it comes to corners, it's like, do you win often? He wins, and he wins often. He can do it all. He checks every single box. So a lot to like about Gardner. So yeah, I mean, like I said, just a great move, I think, from the Jets' perspective. You're getting a corner who I think will be great in this sort of Seattle cover 3, which, by the way, Robert Saleh is not married to this. Like, if you're going to have a kind of base coverage, Robert Saleh does it the correct way. Like, I think Pete Carroll does it kind of the wrong way, where Carroll basically just says, this is what defense we're doing, and that's going to be that. Doesn't really work in the year 2022, worked in 2014. Saleh, he'll mix things up from time to time, but he plays one coverage more than anything else, which is that cover 3 zone, which I think Gardner is kind of perfectly made for. He has the size to be able to do that, but then he also has the speed where if you have to have him play man, he can do that as well. So I think that this is it's just a great scheme fit. It's a great need. Quite frankly, I do kind of wonder a little bit, like, if, Stingley was still there, I'm assuming they still take Gardner, because he fits the scheme just so perfectly well, and I think, quite frankly, I still think he's the best player. So Jets still have another pick coming up soon. We'll see what they go with there. But as a whole, big fan of this selection. That's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. What are your thoughts on Sauce Gardner in this wild draft where it's so unpredictable? I mean, already there's been a couple of surprises, and I have a feeling, more surprises are to come. Even this, which feels like about as, locked in at the pick as we felt like. There could be still kind of, I didn't know this was going to happen. There were several ways they could have gone with it, including Thibodeau, who's still available. But I like this selection. He's my best player available, so I'm a fan of it. But yeah, that's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.